morning. Welcome again to our new episode of ThinkSpace podcast. Today is a very exciting topic, but before that, let's see how Dave's doing today. How are you doing, Dave?
I'm good. Yeah. No, keeping busy.
Busy?
Yeah. Just like our topic here, residential acreages. I was out looking at one actually in Bearspaw there.
Okay.
So, it was definitely interesting. It was one that needed some TLC.
Okay.
Yeah, so needed a lot of work, but it was on a 4-acre plot, which was very attractive.
Oh, nice.
Bearspaw section there. So, it was in, I think it was called Jewel Valley or something like that, one of those little sub areas. And it went into a bidding war just because of how attractive it was.
Bidding war? Yeah,
that one, it was 1.525. It ended up selling for 1.65, so about 125,000 over. So it's just they're high demand. Yeah, and it was unconditional as well.
In this market?
Yeah.
Residential acreages are going unconditional over asking.
Yeah, in some desired areas. Like areas. Yeah, like Bearspaw for sure. Like there's other listings sitting there, but they might not be as attractive. Some of them are older, like in the 90s or 70s, so not as attractive. You need to do lots of renos. This one is livable, but I know they had to do some work inside the place.
Quickly, for if we have to describe an acreage for all the viewers who are trying to get into an acreage, like what do we consider an acreage?
They all start, like there's so many different sizes, so many different areas, subdivisions that have been completed in the past, but they could be anywhere from 1 to 10 or 40 plus. Like it's just most of them in a lot of these estate spots, for example, are anywhere between 1 and 4 acres. 4 is very attractive, but those are a little harder to come across. So you get lots of 2s and then some 1s as well. Just depends where you're at. It depends what you need as well.
Yes.
It's just I think it's just money at the end of the day. But subdivisions aren't as easy and they're very costly to complete as well. So you kind of want to do it on a big scale. So you get this big estate area. You just subdivide everything all nicely, and they usually bring it down to like the 1 to 2 acre kind of level. Yeah.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Like, is it just because for an acreage living that's easy to maintain, like small acreages? Is that why they're?
It is a little bit easier, I guess. A little bit less to worry about. But like if you had, say, a 40-acre plot, that's pretty big.
Yes.
Like, I don't know, like most of that land you're not even going to use. You're just going to have a little subsection of just grassed area. All the rest will be like trees or field or whatever you want to use it for. I've even, there's some out there that you might have a house on it still, and you could have some, oil and gas, royalties coming from it still from another part of your land. Yeah, I've seen that a few times, even out by Bearspaw there.
Okay. Yeah. If someone has to buy an acreage close by Calgary, what are the counties we have?
Well, everybody knows Rocky View because it kind of like wraps all the way around east, west, north.
Yeah.
But then when you hit the south section of Calgary, it goes foothills all the way down. You got wheatland a little further out to the east there.
Okay.
Just past or even before Strathmore.
Okay.
Mountain View maybe because that's a little further. It's like
old
Carstairs areas like that, and then got Knee Hill in the northeast. That is where you'll see little places like Linden, Acme, for example. I got a few clients out there.
Okay. Nice, man.
Yeah,
nice.
Got a few ones, but there's lots of little ones. I'm just talking about some of the main ones that we see.
Let's talk about why do people choose acreage over city living or even suburban living? Like, is it space, privacy, like
all those things? Like, definite. It's privacy. Sort of like a nature. Yeah. The nature thing's pretty important. Everybody just likes being out. You can literally just go walk out your backyard. You got trees. You got sometimes water features. You got a whole bunch of things, right?
I love the water feature.
And privacy too, because maybe you'll see your neighbor way in the distance, but instead of walking out, you got a house right next to you.
Yes.
And you're going in your yard and you look over and your neighbor's staring at you. It's a little different, right? Even if you're backing onto, say, a ravine, it's not the same because you're still beside a home.
Yes.
These acreages get put, and placed privately, especially with the treed acreages that surround the home. that can be really nice because that's, you know, pure privacy.
Exactly.
Mhm.
And I think some people even go for acreage living because they have maybe 1 or 2 dogs and they just want to experience that feeling of having open field for themselves and their pets.
Yeah.
Or maybe a business like
Yeah, there's lots of things. The equestrian thing, like with horses.
yeah.
Sometimes people, I've seen a couple of them where there's these full-on like arenas built for just like for their horses for like walking and shows and
Oh wow.
everything else.
Okay.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. You know, horse stalls and like all the rest of
Like a full-on scale stable.
Yep.
Okay.
Exactly. Yep. Home businesses. Sometimes people want to be off the grid, that kind of idea.
Yes.
Try the solar method or whatever.
Yeah.
And sometimes they want massive gardens for like natural food.
Okay.
And farms.
Farms.
Like I got one client, my client that's near Acme there, they have their own farm, and actually now they're doing their own business. Shaw Farms is their name.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, that's pretty cool, man.
Yeah.
But are there any drawbacks too, like living in such a? I'm guessing
Yeah.
just by looking at people living at acreages, there much more to do.
Yeah, like you got all the maintenance stuff
Yeah.
to worry about because you'll have to definitely buy yourself like tractors and giant like you know riding
Yeah.
lawnmowers and all the rest. I grew up on an acreage, just you know.
Okay.
Yeah, so I was on a 4-acre plot.
And that was in Golden, right?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, Golden, BC. So yeah, we always had the riding lawnmower, big gardens for everything, fruit trees, you know, more privacy, trees all around. So yeah, it was definitely nice. Then you're a walk away from like rivers and creeks and mountains, and you know,
Yes.
it just depends where you are. But for here, but yeah, like the maintenance thing, it was a lot of work. So yeah, just doing all that stuff is quite a full-time.
Just upkeep,
job. Yeah.
and the maintenance, grass,
For
snow.
Yeah, services that you can get to are sometimes limited, but
Yeah.
I don't know, it's getting better and better with all the internet services, for example, that
That's
are
true.
available.
Yeah.
You know, it's sometimes tough in areas, but a lot of the stuff that we had before was very limited. Like my dad didn't even get internet until, what was it? Probably about maybe 6 or 7 years ago.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it literally just had TV through an antenna.
Oh,
And that was kind of it.
nice.
Yeah, so
That's
he's
pretty old
liking-
school.
Yeah, I know, but he's liking the internet now.
Okay.
So. But yeah, it's not that bad. Like around here, especially around Calgary city core, you'll have a lot more services
Yes.
that are available. Yeah, and then obviously commuting. If they
Oh.
work in Calgary, then the commutes will be pretty big.
I mean, we still have some places around Calgary that commute is still much easier. Like from
Yeah.
maybe Bear Spa is
Oh,
the
yeah,
same
it's
as
not
I think
bad.
Nolan Hill.
Yeah, even if you're going out, like I guess it just depends. Like I know my client when they're out in like Linden, for example, or Acme,
Oh,
it is a
okay.
little bit of a drive. It's
Oh,
over
yeah.
an hour.
That's I think that's just
Yeah,
too far.
a little far. It's like going to Canmore, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Like Canmore's an hour away, so yeah.
Like you lived on an acreage, so you probably know all the things required or
Yeah.
how things work.
Yeah.
But for the many first-time acreage buyers,
Right.
they need some information about how the services work, especially like
Yeah.
water, septic tanks,
Mhm.
sewage system.
Yeah, so water's one part. So either you're going to be, depending on how far away you are, what section you're a part of. Like Bears Paw, for example, they got co-op water co-ops, so they got a water system there, and everybody's tapping into that.
Okay.
So you got something like that, or a municipal, like for a town, they got their town water or something. And there's also the common thing is a well. So yeah, if there's no water in that area, then you got to dig, down and drill for your well. You got to get that all set up.
Okay.
And then if you have a well, you're gonna have to do water testing every once in a while. You're gonna want to add your proper water filtration
Yes, that's
systems
true.
just to make sure, because I know in some areas it might taste a little, I don't know, or smell a little sulfury or something. I know
Yeah.
in the south that I've run into that a few times, but it's just getting that water part set up.
Yeah.
That's part, and there's also another one. I've only run into it a couple of times where it's like a cistern where it's like a big water tank, and because there is no say water, like it's hard
Like
to
an
drill for it.
above ground water tank.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, exactly. So you actually get your water shipped or delivered. So somebody will just come in and fill your water tank and everything like that.
Okay.
So that's a little different. It's a little more extreme. I don't know if anybody really wants to do that. it'd be better if you just had it on tap through the ground or through some municipal or co-op.
Oh,
That'd
yes.
be more ideal. That's where
Yeah.
Bear Spa is very attractive.
Yeah.
It's kind of all set up that way.
Yes.
Yeah.
Then we still have like septic tanks,
Yep.
septic fields, power, internet,
Yep.
like all
Yeah.
those things.
Well,
please.
septic is different too. Not everybody's used to. Everybody's just used to the regular sewer
Yeah.
system. Like there are some areas that are still connected to the Calgary system, like Alberta Valley Estates. That doesn't really count as like an acreage property area, but that was sort of the furthest west, I guess they went
Yeah.
for that section. But for the most part, yeah, you'll have a septic tank, and then for any of the liquids in that tank, it gets pumped out to a field where it's like literally just a field of like lines going out
Yes.
into
Yeah.
like underground there, and it kind of just naturally absorbs into the
Okay.
into the area. It'll
Okay.
kind of know where some of these fields are
Yeah.
based. Even in the wintertime, you'll see like, why isn't the snow melting in that section? Because it's a little warmer.
Oh,
right?
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So-
Makes sense.
Or wood melts. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. In that section.
And garbage. I think that's the.
Mhm. Yeah, you just set it up with whatever local service that there will be. It won't be like a Calgary service, but there are services out there for rural
Okay.
areas. You just have to pay for it. Everything else is usually pretty normal. There's always going to be, power. A lot of the time, like almost all the time, there's gas that runs to the line. I guess worst case for like heat and stuff like that, you might have to come up with some more, creative methods.
Yes.
Let's
yes.
just say there is no gas, like you're in the middle of nowhere and there's no gas line,
Oh yeah.
right? Then you'll have to come up with another heating source. I've seen anything from like propane tanks to heating, so you come out and you have to get those filled. I know a neighbor in Golden had that. My dad, he still has wood burning furnace.
Oh.
Yeah, with a secondary, you need a secondary heating source for backup purposes.
Okay.
So he has an electric system as well. Obviously, electric would be expensive,
Yes.
but
yeah.
it's there for backup,
Okay.
just in case.
Okay.
Yeah.
We for all the podcasts that we did here,
Yeah.
we always talked about different levels of houses, apartments, like from the starter homes to luxury to ultra luxury
Yeah.
or move up homes.
That's right.
Like, does that exist in the acreages?
Oh, for
as well?
sure.
Yeah.
Because you can have. It seemed to be like there's just different stages of all these acreages as
Yeah.
well. There was some in the 70s where there were big acreages. Then their subdivisions hit the 90s. So it's slightly smaller ones, at least 4 to 10. And then, as the 2000s hit, there's more subdivisions and all these little sub-estate areas.
Okay.
They
Yeah.
came down to their 2s. So what I found is there's definitely a lot of luxury acreage property. So larger homes, because you got all the space, you got huge garages,
Yeah.
outbuildings, lots of cool things that you can do, sport courts. I even saw one with like a full golf course.
Oh yes.
On it, you might
yes.
see that one
yeah,
too.
I saw that too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Full golf course. That's crazy.
That's
Yes.
a little extreme. But hey, come to the golf course.
Exactly.
Who knows?
I think I saw a few acreages with even a runway.
Oh
or
yeah.
Private kinda.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
saw one to the east.
Yes.
Yeah, you might
yes.
have saw that one as well.
Exactly. Oh
Mhm.
man, that was cool. That was a good one.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah. Well, and then there's also like the farm style acreages. So you get a farmhouse. Sometimes you got buildings for like all your animals and everything as well. Various barns, outbuildings.
Okay. Yeah.
Different. Maybe slight sub business or whatever it is, whatever you're doing.
Exactly.
With
Yeah.
it. You got your entry level acreages, which could just be a basic plot, not much going on. Old house needs full renos, but it's like maybe it was an old farmhouse from like the 50s or later or earlier. Who knows? Like sometimes you get some of these really old ones
Okay.
that maybe got slowly renovated over time.
Yes.
But
yes.
yeah, those entry level, it's hard to find an acreage, under 800,000. Like
Oh,
I'm finding
definitely.
like a price point level.
Yeah.
Like I'm just staying around Calgary. But
Yeah.
the further and further you go, obviously the price changes.
I think the further west you go, the price still goes up.
Yeah, west is good because you can't do much because you're gonna hit Cochrane's. Everything in between's already been sort of set
Yeah.
with all these little sub-estate areas.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so there's not much you can do. But if you go past Cochrane,
Past.
then things will be
Okay,
a little
yeah.
bit cheaper. Same with north. Anytime you go north of say Airdrie,
Yeah.
and it's getting further and further away, things do become cheaper. Yeah, they eat something is more.
But
close
between
by.
Airdrie and Calgary is like where super luxury acreages are.
Yep, definitely, and south as well. They're literally everywhere. Every
Yes.
direction, you'll get little estate spots.
Yeah.
Like they're everywhere for sure. And then there's bare land.
Yes.
Yeah, bare land is just where the land just hasn't been built on yet. Sometimes it's been developed, so you might have your wells already there from before. You're not going to probably have your septic tanks or fields yet, because there's nothing hooked up, no house to hook it
it's
up
just
to. But yeah, usually wells, they'll have power and they'll have gas brought to the front of the lot, and then you just have to develop it and build the rest when you build a house.
Okay.
So, yeah, it just depends. If there's a subdivision that you put through, then obviously you gotta take that utility and connect it to the new lot
Okay.
as well.
If any of our listeners is in the process of buying or thinking of buying, and they have selected everything,
Yeah.
there still needs to be some due diligence done, some inspections.
Yeah, for
right?
sure. Like
Yeah.
you're gonna do your regular like house inspection.
Yeah.
You might have a few extra components, definitely like water filtration and everything, but you're gonna want to do a water test. There's a company out there,
Okay.
or multiple companies,
Yeah.
but yeah, there's a couple main ones obviously that are going to be there and available. You're gonna do a water test. You're gonna have them inspect the septic tank field. Just make sure everything's working. Make sure the pump's working. See the level. Is it full? Does it need to be pumped out?
Okay.
Because you obviously got to get your septic tank pumped every once in a while, depending on the size of your family and usage. Could be anywhere from a year to 3-4 years that you get it pumped.
Okay.
So there's a service out there that comes and literally pumps out everything from
Oh,
from
okay.
your septic tank.
Yeah, okay.
The liquids still go down the field, but the solids obviously get pumped out.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then there will be soil testing as well?
No, not typically.
Okay.
There is like when it radon, for example,
Yeah.
it is in the soil. That's just going to be a part of any home testing anyway.
Yes.
You can't there's companies out there that do radon testing. They say it's like a 1-day test or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Honestly, that's never going to give you an accurate result. You got to do a proper long-term
Yes,
test
exactly.
just to make sure your levels are safe. There's lots of radon in Alberta naturally, so it's just good to keep an eye on it, especially if it's a new home. Surprisingly,
Yeah.
new homes are like so just sealed up that anything that gets in stays in.
Oh,
These
yes,
old
yeah.
homes are a little drafty, like the one I live in, in
Yeah.
the 60s in Lakeview.
Yeah.
It kind of takes care of itself a little
Okay,
bit.
yes,
so,
exactly.
yeah,
I
one
think
of
the
those
more
things.
energy efficient we are becoming,
Yeah.
we are more trapping these things in the house.
Oh, yeah, for sure. You just have to have good ventilation. If you have
Yes.
good ventilation, then you're fine. Then obviously there's going to be more outbuildings and everything, so you just got to do more structural checks, barns, this and the other.
Oh,
Yeah.
definitely.
Yeah.
I'm guessing there will be more maintenance cost as well.
Yeah,
Comparing to the ones in the
yeah. Well, what if
city,
you have a
right?
driveway? You
Yeah.
might need a blow tractor to literally just clear that road,
Exactly.
or even just a little bobcat. That's what my dad has because we own a road as well that comes in.
Okay.
So he has to clear the road anytime that snows or whatever.
Yeah.
And then extra landscaping, any other equipment that you have for your property.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And then there will be a cost like maybe paying the co-op additional money for.
For water and
Yeah.
stuff. Yeah, I don't know, it's just like anything. We pay water
Yeah.
costs here in the city. Yeah, it might, I don't know, it could be a little more for some areas, just depending on the services
Yes.
that are available. Same with utilities and stuff as well. Just make sure you're close to some fire hall or whatever. At least there's something in the area. Know where everything is at least, so that you can manage your risk. One other thing, sometimes you'll run into. We have it in Calgary in a lot of our communities, our homeowner association, HOAs.
Yeah.
So lake communities, obviously you pay a yearly fee for all the lake access and
Yeah.
maintenance and everything. The same thing can apply
Okay.
for some areas. There's sometimes even bare land condo setups as well, just so that you pay a monthly fee and they take care of the roads and landscaping, all this extra stuff. But yeah, some areas even on Bears Paw will have lake access to multiple lakes, trails, nice just sort of walking areas, and it's just there.
Yeah.
I think, what was it? Church Ranches. That one had, I think, about $1,000 a year, or just over $1,000 a year.
Oh.
HOA.
Okay.
But yeah, they have access to a lot of different things.
Okay. Okay.
Including I think there was 4 lakes out there and trails, paths, and It's a pretty fun area. I know that's a high demand spot.
Okay.
For
Yeah.
sure. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's really
How's
nice.
the difference in social life, like schools, events,
Yeah,
anything with to do with the community?
I think it depends on each spot that you go to.
Yeah.
Depends what you want. Some people want seclusion, no part of that.
Yeah.
Others do want that.
Maybe that's
still.
why they go to Acreages.
Yeah,
they
that's
don't
part of
want-
it. Yeah, but no, I find in Bears Paw it can be quite the community as well. People
Okay.
will know each other, just depending, which part you're in.
Okay.
You're gonna have, like there's some schools or sometimes golf courses. This social clubs, like whatever.
Yes.
It just depends. Each one is a little bit different in what they offer. So yeah, I guess you're thinking if you got teenage kids and stuff like that.
Yes.
It'd be good to have others around so that you're not all alone and secluded. All you have is your school that you kind of like take your bus to, and that's kind of it, or have to get dropped off at certain areas.
Okay.
Yeah, it's good to know those. Maybe not as easy as say city living, but you just have to work around what services are available.
Okay. Nice. At the start of this podcast, we did
Yeah.
talk about acreage getting sold over asking unconditional, even in this market. Is this like a regular market we are in, or like how's the acreage market all year around?
Yeah, I guess it wasn't as big before COVID hit in 2020, but once it did, then suddenly I remember seeing the stat at her office. There was a sudden 220% increase in acreage sales. It just hit already. I remember that number specifically, and I was looking at it, I'm like, yeah, it makes sense.
220% increase.
Well, yeah, it's just, it's more than double, right? Like
Yes.
what it is, but I think it even got hotter than that as well. And all of a sudden, sales just escalated, values escalated, and acreages still to this day still have that, attraction.
Okay.
Because if everybody, especially if you can work from home, then why not live where you want to live, in
Okay.
seclusion, away from the city, and
Yeah.
especially if it, it's better for your mental health, even just be out in, a peaceful setting.
So, like in our previous podcast when we talked about impact of COVID into
Yeah.
real estate,
Mhm.
I think that was a driving force behind the surge
Yeah,
or
for
demand.
sure.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it was always in demand in its
Yeah.
own way. It's just the demand got even hotter ever since people just realized that they love the outdoor part. Like that was another thing too with COVID. Everybody just started becoming more outdoorsy. Just suddenly everybody's like, hey, I'm a hiker now.
Oh, yeah.
Just like oh, I like nature. I'm like, oh, this is what I was missing out on, right?
Yeah.
So,
Exactly.
especially all those people tucked up in condos and stuff. They're like, oh man, I need to get out.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
So new experiences led to new things, and acreages obviously being in demand. They're still in demand. Maybe not as hot as the hottest times we've seen in the last 4 years, but demand's still there, especially in areas like Bears Paw.
Okay. How's the long-term investment? If you talk about, like, I know people do invest in condos, townhouses, semi-detached houses in Calgary. Like, do people do that? Do people invest in acreages for long-term growth?
Not as like an investment, maybe like a future purchase, or unless they're doing maybe a future land development.
Okay.
Like
Yeah.
I believe Jeff, like he has a property with some partners and stuff, but it's like a big plot of land. They're just essentially sitting on it. It's appreciating.
Oh, okay.
But it's not like you're getting any revenue from it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you're just sitting on cash in this property.
Okay.
It's something you could do if you had, either partners or maybe a big, chunk of capital that you could use to buy land,
Yeah.
and then just sort of sit on it for a while. But the problem with land is you're not necessarily going to have mortgages or something on it.
Yes, it has to be most likely a cash purchase.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
it just depends on the returns that you can get. Some people, they'll consider it if maybe it's a good opportunity down the line, or it can turn into something big like double value or whatever it is.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
yeah, it does happen as long as you get it at the right time. I guess it's a possibility.
Yeah. Okay. No, makes sense.
Yeah.
Of all the areas around Calgary, like Bear Spa, Springbank, Devonton, Prentice,
Mm-hmm.
Bragg Creek,
Yeah.
which one would you like to buy one in?
That's a tough one. I probably want to stay to the west, where you kind of get more of the mountain views.
Okay, yeah.
And stuff like that. Brick Creek's kind of cool, but I think I might want to be a little closer to the city. So I'd probably go with like Bears Paw or Springbank.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, I'd probably go with one of those two.
Okay.
Yeah,
yeah.
Bears Paw, like that church ranch is there. It's kind of a cool spot as well.
Bears Paw is cool, but I think
Yeah.
I will
You?
choose Predis.
Oh, British.
I like Predis.
Yeah, it's nice.
Like
it's nice. Yeah.
it's right at the foot of the mountains.
Yeah.
It's close enough.
That's
I think
true.
I'll.
And everything's pretty nice too. Like,
Exactly.
Yeah, there are nice spots down there closer to like Okotoks. Like I've been buying with clients out there quite a bit in the last 4 years. So that's typically where people have been buying. Few in Bears Paw. Still, a client I'm looking with right now in Bears Paw as well. You know, I know I've sold lots in Bears Paw, so it's kind of so it's kind of a tricky thing. But I guess it just depends.
Yeah. Well, I know that you used to live on an acreage in Golden, BC.
Yeah.
Our viewers, listeners know that too now.
Mm-hmm.
Would you consider living on an acreage again at any point in your life?
Maybe. Yeah. it's one of those things like maybe later in my life, but I know the maintenance is a little crazy, so I might go with like a smaller one.
Oh yes.
You know, I don't know. It's possible. You know, it's good for like having animals and everything like that. But again, it just depends what you want to do with your lifestyle. It's a lot of work upkeeping yards and if you have gardens or anything like that.
Oh, absolutely.
So, yeah, it's a tricky part.
Yeah.
Yeah, but why don't we skip to our segment?
Okay.
You want to do that?
Yes, let's do that.
So here, I'll start with you.
Okay.
So, it's kind of like relating back to that question. Like I guess if you were to live on an acreage, what would your acreage look like?
What would my acreage look like? I prefer a farm style acreage where I have a nice little house with a wraparound veranda.
Yeah.
And some field, mountain views, nothing too crazy.
Yeah.
Maybe a dog.
Mm-hmm.
And a rocking chair on the porch.
Nice.
I did paint a beautiful picture.
Yeah. We'll give you a banjo too.
Exactly. Yeah.
Cool.
But how about you?
Yeah, it's kind of similar. Yeah, like a nice like bungalow style home with lots of covered wrapped around like veranda and everything like that. That would be pretty cool. I'd probably want to be perched up a little bit higher and then have access to like a water feature. It doesn't have to be like a standing pond because obviously you get tons of mosquitoes.
Oh,
and
yes.
I'd rather have like a little creek going through or something like that where you have access to like a water source. But views would be nice. But then having trees surround as well, so you get kind of like that privacy. The only thing I'm paranoid about is like wild animals for like, especially if you have dogs and whatever else. I definitely have dogs on the property, you kind of have to.
Yeah.
I probably have everything fenced off nicely as well, so that nothing too crazy can get in.
Yes,
but you're not going to stop animals no matter what.
No, definitely, yeah.
Just more, security.
Yes. But if you have to pick one favorite feature about an acreage,
what would it be?
just one.
Just one feature. To think about that one.
Yeah.
My favorite part of an acreage, I'd probably say the trees around it, like just a nice tree surround, so you're kind of like got that nature feel. I think that's kind of the thing. I wouldn't want to live on one of those acreages where they're just flat. You're living on like a prairie or something like that. I don't know, it just reminds you of like Tornado Valley or, like something's gonna hit. But if we're close enough to mountains and stuff, we're safe. But
We do get some crazy storms here.
And the trees do help protect against wind as well.
That's true.
Yeah, just having a nice kind of like nature setting. I think that's my favorite part of, acreage living. It's great in Golden, obviously, having those, literally just look outside one side of your house, mountains, you look at your other side, mountains. That's kind of cool too, like all the views and everything. But if I had to pick one, I'll just more the nature aspect of it. How about you?
Oh, same. Like a nature aspect of it.
Mm-hmm.
Being able to just walk on grass, go into woods, maybe a water feature, creek, something.
Yeah.
Maybe fishing there.
Yeah.
Maybe something like that, similar to that.
Mm-hmm.
But nature is the number one feature for me as well, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool. Yeah, I guess if you're close to like rivers or creeks or the fishing thing, maybe get back into that from the roots.
Exactly. Clear your head. No stress, just you living in the moment. I think that's the best.
Absolutely.
Well, that's it for this podcast about residential acreages. If you guys are looking to buy an acreage in Calgary or around Calgary, please do give us a call. We have ton of knowledge between me and Dave, and we would love to help you guys. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
See you in the next one.
See you next one.